Alright, this morning I want to talk about an issue that I have came across and I've actually seen stated by quite a few YouTube channels in regards to these dual gear extruders. There's a major design flaw with these that I didn't really notice the first time I had purchased these. Last year I bought my first one that I'd put on my original Ender 3 Pro, and what the major design flaw is, which you would think would have been addressed by the manufacturer, is this is a hardened steel gear, and it's basically just running on aluminum with no bearing surface, no nothing. So eventually what's going to happen is this gear is just going to start to grind into this aluminum housing, and it's going to get so bad that it'll eat through. I mean, the first one that I had purchased about a year ago, after watching these videos, I had seen that there's going to be an issue with these, and I had kept it lubricated, but that still didn't help. It ground, a pretty good gash just into the housing, and it was probably binding up and putting a lot more stress on the stepper motors than necessary, obviously. So I was trying to think of a way I could solve this, because I have like 4 or 5 of these on different printers that I own, because they're inexpensive and they work well. But they had that major design flaw. So I was thinking to myself, what could I do to not have to buy, B&G extruders and change out all my stuff and basically just not use these. And in Airsoft, when you work on gearboxes, which are the little parts inside of the Airsoft guns that actually make it operate, when you're re-shimming the gears, which basically the shims are very fine pieces of metal, little washers, you could basically say, but they go down to super small, like 0.1 millimeters. So that's actually what I thought I could use to create a bearing surface to separate the steel from the aluminum, which is what I did. So I've modified all of mine so far, except for this one. So I'm going to walk through that today, and these are only $2. I mean, you can go online and find a pack of these for $2.50 on Airsoft websites. And the modification should really take you less than 10 minutes to get this to a point where it won't wear out on you. So let me show you what you got to do. Alright, so I've gone ahead and sorted through my little packet of shims here, and I found the next smallest size that I have. So these guys measure 0.16 in thickness. So basically what I'm going to do now is take apart this little screw here. Let you pop out, revealing this guy. There should be 2 little bearings in there, and here's your little steel housing. So we're going to remove an equal amount of material from either side of this. So 1.6 millimeters ideally, probably a little more to give us a little play, so it runs smoothly. So all you're going to need then is your sheet of pretty fine sandpaper. You can do wet or dry, and you're going to sit there and take your time, do it just enough. You can always take off more, you can't add any back. So slowly keep going until you remove enough material that when you reinstall this with your shims, you can freely spin it with your finger. It's not going to bind up or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, after a little bit of time here, I went and wet sanded my gear and test fitted a few times while I was doing it, and I got it to a point that I like. I have yet to actually put the grease on the bearing surfaces yet, here and here, but now those little shims are separating the aluminum housing from the steel gear, so there should be no way for it to wear on the aluminum. So these should last pretty much indefinitely with the proper lubrication, because now you've got a nice steel, perfectly flush shim that's free moving, separate from this gear and from the housing. So there should be very little friction on here, and should solve a lot of issues people are having with these. And if you own multiple of them, like I do, spending the $2.50 and taking the time to modify them instead of having to buy new ones is a great way to save money and basically stop a ticking time bomb. I mean, eventually these will wear out enough that it will bind up and cause issues with your print, and maybe that could happen during a 24-hour print, who's to say. So this is a little mod that I came up with, and I hope you guys will take a look at it and see if it works for you. Thank you.